Well, hello there everyone, and welcome to another episode of An Hour with Domino. I believe this will be episode number 8. I am very stuffed. I just got done eating not long ago, and then I watched Game Grumps. My tummy is not very happy with me tonight, but my Maya, my boyfriend, he made pizza and meatballs, and I did not want to ignore that one. Let's see. We have a few things to talk about on the show tonight. Some recent things that have come up. Some news in Pokemon world, actually, which I'm really going to be touching upon. Whether or not it'll be exciting for you, I guess we'll just have to see. And also, the information that has come up with Pokemon lately. I'm not trying to say it's sketchy, but it's a little bit out of balance, I guess you could say. But we'll get to that, and I'll explain why. Let's see, any announcements at the beginning here. Well, as a lot of you know, that we did just go through some bad weather over here on the East Coast. It didn't really affect me a whole lot, because I live an hour away from the ocean with Maya, but we did get our part of Hurricane Florence. I was going to get this episode out a little bit sooner, but I'm kind of glad that I'm getting it out right now with a few more information that has come up lately about a few more topics. Our power was out for a day, but that was really the only bad thing that really happened where I live. I did see in the news that Hurricane Florence was kind of bad news for everybody else, though, at least in the area where it hit. It wasn't as bad as people thought it was going to be, though. That's one good thing about it. But it's hurricane season. It's what we have to expect. It happens. Nature happens. You cannot escape it. Human life is always living alongside nature. It's not nature that lives alongside us. We have to remember that. It does what it wants to. We only cope with it. Also, I wanted to bring to everyone's attention, I don't know if some of you have noticed, episode 5 of An Hour with Domino was blocked worldwide. And I do believe it has something to do with one of the songs that were used in it. YouTube is really giving a lot of people hard times with this. I'm not very happy about it. Just keep in mind that I'll do what I can to remedy that situation. It is not at the top of my list right now because I'm kind of tired of having to deal with this. But I will be fixing that situation in time. That episode has been up for a while. By now everyone's had their chance to listen to it, and I'm glad they have. I will get back to that. Speaking of YouTube, again, they've changed a few things about their website design, which I'm also not too happy about, but we'll see if they fix that. I did leave feedback, so we'll have to see. And I'm not the only one either. A lot of people don't like their brand new YouTube Studio Beta that's kind of trying to take over. I didn't even select it, it just did it for me. That's like the classic way of how websites update things. They really don't ask anybody, they just do it. Another website that was kind of guilty for that for a little while was eBay, but they actually did listen to people at some point, and they put things back the way they were supposed to. You know what, I want to move into Pokemon and games talk now, because I'm actually really excited to talk about this. Alright, now, a few days ago, and this was apparently by complete accident, unless the person who did it was doing it as like a joke. I'm just going to leak this as a joke. That could be another situation too. But Pokemon Go apparently has accidentally leaked one of the new Pokemon in Generation 8. And they did it because they were trying to upgrade their files to the game itself, because as you all know, Pokemon's going to be releasing some new games soon, Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, and they're supposed to be combining with Pokemon Go some of their features. And apparently, while they were upgrading their system, Pokemon Go, there was one file that it was called Kecleon. Now, Kecleon is a Generation 3 Pokemon. It's already been out for a while, but it did not have Kecleon's image. It had an image of a little Pokemon that looks kind of like a gray Ditto with a lug nut for a head that's got an eyeball in the middle of it. It's actually rather cute, but this could possibly be a brand new Pokemon in Generation 8. And the reason that there's another evidence that it's possibly a Generation 8 Pokemon that's yet to be released is the fact that of its Pokemon number. Even though it was accidentally mislabeled as Kecleon, the Pokemon, this mysterious new Pokemon, its number is 891, I believe they said. Now, currently, with Generation 7 Pokemon, there are only 807 Pokemon or so that are known. That means that there's at least, in between those numbers, like 84 more or so, that we don't know about. And it's interesting that it's labeled that number, so obviously it means it's not released yet. So everybody really likes this. There are some people who don't like it, obviously. They think it's a weird little Pokemon design. There's actually video footage of people capturing it in Pokemon Go, so it has showed up. And then it morphs into Ditto, strangely enough. And there were some people in Pokemon Go, and the Niantic company, that said that it was some sort of glitch, but then some people said that it wasn't and it was deliberate. So that's where I said the information is possibly a little sketchy, but the evidence is right there. It was actually programmed into it. It actually was in video footage as well. And so we're just going to have to see if this is an official new mystery Pokemon or not. A little bit more evidence that it could be a brand new Pokemon is the fact that in the new Pokemon games, the side games, Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu, there's a feature in that once you accomplish something in it, you will be introduced to one of the brand new Generation 8 Pokemon, because that is coming next year, officially now. And it could be that little mysterious gray Ditto lugnut head Pokemon that we just mentioned. I think it's really cute. A lot of people on DeviantArt are drawing it, of course. I don't know what type it would be. I guess partly steel type? Since it has a lugnut for a head, we'll have to find out. But that is some brand new information in the Pokemon world lately. It's being talked about everywhere with no absolute clarification. And another new thing coming up in Pokemon is there is going to be a brand new Pokemon movie. And for some veteran Pokemon fans who didn't really appreciate the art style of the Alola season, Sun and Moon season, it really didn't bother me too much, but there was a lot of people who were very upset about how Ash was designed. In the new movie, Ash looks a little bit older. Not by much, but he looks a little bit older, and he's traveling with some unrecognizable people, and I did see that he's supposed to be going to a place called, I guess, it's known as Frau City. It kind of looks like it's based off San Francisco. I watched the trailer to it, which was in Japanese, and actually I'm going to give a link to that in the description so you can look down there and find it if you want to watch the trailer yourself. It's already been released in Japan, the trailer at least, and it has not been translated just yet. And there's one character in the trailer I actually kind of really like. He looks like a little scientist boy. He's got like long, poofy green hair. I kind of like his design. He's rather cute. Ash is actually looking really good too. The color of the animation is very vibrant and full. The movie itself looks like it's going to be very interesting. Team Rocket was in there very briefly in the trailer, so I'm glad that they're still around. I love Team Rocket. And also, in a very quick little clip, the movie is going to be featuring the latest Pokemon, Zeraora, which was, I believe, the last Pokemon to be revealed in the Sun and Moon Pokedex, and also the official national Pokedex of every Pokemon. So he will be in the movie too. I'm not 100% sure what the movie will be about, but we're all going to find out in time. And I'm really excited for that. It's about time we got some brand new Pokemon information other than the side games that they've been working on. I still think that they're going to take a little bit more time revealing Generation 8, probably not till late next year. I mentioned a little of that in the last episode too. Who knows, maybe you can share your thoughts in the comments of what you think about the mysterious Pokemon that was accidentally revealed by Pokemon Go, whether or not you feel it's a genuine Pokemon in the lineup soon, or it was some sort of weird glitch, or whether it was done deliberately or accidentally. You never know. But actually, I would like to know your thoughts. And let's see, moving on into games now. A lot more information has been revealed for the new Dead or Alive 6 game. And also, talking about games, before we move into Dead or Alive, I also want to make a little bit of announcement. In a previous episode, a few episodes back, I mentioned how Soul Calibur 6 was already out, and I just wasn't able to buy it. It turns out that that's been delayed. It's coming out in October. I thought it was already out, because when I first saw information about it, it was a few months ago. And it was supposed to be released a few months ago, I mean. But it turns out that it was not. It's going to come out in October, apparently, and I did put a little caption on that episode explaining that as well. But I just wanted to vocalize that. So we have to wait just a little bit longer for that game to come out too, but I'm still excited for it. Whenever I get Soul Calibur 6, I will be recreating all of my characters on that game as well, and featuring them on Domino Maya Games, me and Maya's gaming channel, which we have some new content coming soon too as well for Domino Maya Games. We were down for a little bit for Hurricane Florence, but we have some new videos coming soon, so be sure to watch for them. Alright, Dead or Alive 6. Some more characters were revealed. In fact, let me see here. I'm going to bring up the website. DOA. The DOA website here. And again, the official release date for Dead or Alive 6 will be February 15th. Alright, 4 more characters are going to be coming back into Dead or Alive 6, and that is Ayane, Marie Rose, Hanoka, and Bayman. They've all appeared in previous games, and we are glad to see them coming back. And there's another new stage, too. Another new fighting stage. And it kind of looks like a Lost Paradise. Well, that's what it's called, Lost Paradise. But it kind of looks like an old water park that's abandoned on an island somewhere. And Maya actually pointed out something. He said, what if that is like the remains of Zack Island? And who knows, maybe it is. We'll have to see what the new game brings about. I'm still very excited to see how many more characters are going to be joining the roster. I hope there will be some more brand new ones too. I'm glad to see that, familiar faces are coming back, but I want to see if there'll be a brand new character to glom onto again. I hope that he'll be a really handsome looking boy with long hair. Because that just really strikes my fancy. You know what? Let's move on to our first song break. And I'll be back right after Domino Radio.
Ooh, ah, ooh, ah, willow weep for me, willow weep for me, bend your branches green along the stream that runs to sea. Listen to my plea, listen, willow, and weep for me. Gone my lover's dream, lovely summer dream, gone and left me here to weep my tears into the stream. Sad as I can be, hear me, willow, and weep for me. Whisper to the wind and say that love has sinned, to leave my heart a-breaking and making a moan. Murmur to the night to hide her starry light, so none will find me sighing and crying all alone. Oh, weeping willow tree, weep in sympathy, bend your branches down along the ground and cover me. When the shadows fall, bend, oh willow, and weep for me. Whisper to the wind and say that love has sinned, to leave my heart a-breaking and making a moan. Murmur to the night to hide her starry light, so none will find me sighing and crying all alone. Oh, weeping willow tree, weep in sympathy, bend your branches down along the ground and cover me. When the shadows fall, bend, oh willow, and weep for me.
Well, hello again, and welcome back to An Hour with Domino. The song you just heard was called Willow Weep for Me by the Fontaine Sisters. It's nice to be back on the show again. I've been wanting to do more episodes a little bit more frequently this year. There was a little bit of time during the summer that I didn't get an episode out as quickly as I wanted or as soon as I wanted, but I hope to do them a little bit more frequently toward the end of the year. Let's move on into anime talk. Maybe some fun facts for the episode 2 soon. We'll have to see. Anime talk. Let's see. Other anime that I've been watching lately. How many of you know Buddy Fight? Future Card Buddy Fight. Me and Maya just call it Buddy Fight, but I wonder how many of you know about that. It's actually kind of a cute anime. It kind of reminds me a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! In a way. But I've been watching that with Maya off and on. Future Card Buddy Fight. It kind of looks like if I was gonna say it kind of looked like Yu-Gi-Oh! If there were holograms, but honestly, when you watch Yu-Gi-Oh! they do use holograms, don't they? It looks like it's set in some type of futuristic world where they have a type of holographic dueling, and it reminds me a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! In that manner. But it's got really cute characters in it. Me and Maya have been in progress with it for a little while. We're not done with it yet. Apparently there are several seasons of it too. So I thought that I would bring that anime to everyone's attention. It has been translated. It's in English. I don't think it's been shown anywhere. I really do not think it's been shown anywhere on like either Toonami or even Funimation. I don't even think Funimation is the ones who dubbed it. I'm not sure who dubbed it. I'd have to look into that a little bit more, but I thought that I would talk about it a little bit. One of the characters actually is this talking dragon. And he's like the main character's friend and sidekick. And we haven't watched lately, but the next time we watch anime, we'll probably continue with watching Buddy Fight. Let's see, a few other animes that we've been in progress watching. Still watching Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. We're still watching Pokemon. I want to catch up a lot with Pokemon, actually, considering another new season's going to be starting soon. Oh, yes, that is something that I wanted to mention. Okay. For those of you who have played the Sun and Moon games for Pokemon, I'm sure you're all familiar with the character known as Hau. He was before just a game-exclusive character, but he seems to be coming into the actual anime now, and everybody's excited about that. And Ash kind of looks like he'll be getting some new Pokemon as well. Misty and Brock might be making a return, we'll have to see. But yes, there will be another new arc for Sun and Moon anime. And I believe that is what's going to end the Sun and Moon arc of Pokemon and before they move on to Generation 8. Interesting enough, when I'm here I am looking at it on Bulbapedia, the information about it. It almost looks like that Ash is going to get an Eevee. And it looks like to be a little boy Eevee, and he looks like he's got a big tuft of hair covering his eyes. It's actually a very cute looking Eevee. Maybe I'll show the image. So you can kind of see all the characters that are possibly going to be in that arc. And I'm not really sure if the Dartrix Pokemon that is beside Hau is his, or if that's possibly Ash's Dartrix, because I do not see Rowlet anywhere on there either. Possibly Ash's Rowlet had evolved. So it could be Ash's Pokemon. Some people were thinking that too, when I was looking at comments about this. But yeah. Hopefully, during the episode today it doesn't sound like I'm talking too quickly. I was a little excited to start this episode today with all the new information that I had to talk about. Hopefully this episode will be about an hour long. We'll have to see. There will be 3 song breaks today, so... And hopefully YouTube will not block it. Hopefully. Oh, I also have to thank my friend Rachel. Whenever I get done with an episode, I always let her know when it's going up, so that she can listen to it, and the last episode she said that she was listening to it while eating or something, and she said that I had a very soothing voice. I'm glad. Some people do not like my voice. They say I either have a weird dialect or accent, or I have a rather quiet voice. I do have a quiet voice, but some people think it's too quiet. I've never always been too quiet, it's just how I talk. Sometimes I can be loud. I'm not sure if we'll have any fun facts for today, actually. We haven't been doing too many of them lately, but I will try to have more of those soon, because I do like that part of the show. It's always fascinating, actually. Alright, everyone. While I was actually looking around for things for fun facts, actually, but you didn't know because I cut that part out, going back to Pokemon and about that brand new Pokemon that I mentioned earlier in the show, people are still seeing it. As of right now, people are still seeing it in Pokemon Go, which it turns out it could legitimately be a brand new Pokemon, but they do not know why it keeps turning into Ditto. It could generally be some sort of glitch that's still going on, that's like they programmed it the wrong way or something. But yeah, I find that really fascinating. I just now saw more updates about it while doing the show and looking at Bulbapedia news. So rarely does that actually happen, that I get an update while I'm actually looking at stuff while doing the show, but I thought that was notable enough to even mention right now. You know, this episode is going to be a lot about Pokemon, so hopefully you don't mind that. I have a really big passion for it, so any news, I love to report about it and talk about it. And it's because of that I almost kind of wish Maya would have been on the show with me today. But we'll talk about it maybe on the next episode. I'm going to see if he can come on with me on the next one. Today, since I'm pretty much combining anime talk with a little bit more of continued gaming talk, there's another Pokemon MMO game that's coming out, actually, that it looks like it's been working on for a little while. They've been working on it for a while. I recently found this one game called Poke 1. Now, it's very similar to Pokemon Revolution Online, which I'm a frequent player of. Poke 1 actually looks really amazing. They have really nice full 3D graphics for battling and for walking around the Pokemon world. And I'm going to keep a little bit more tabs on it so I can report on it some more. It looks like so far they only have 2 regions, which are Kanto and Johto, so it's not completely up to par yet with a few other Pokemon MMO games, but they're updating it, and I'm going to keep looking at it because I might actually have to play it, just to see what it's like. So far I'm very impressed with the graphics. I think it's very beautiful. If you haven't looked it up or known anything about it, I suggest looking it up. It looks really nice. And also, for those who might actually play Pokemon Revolution Online, I did tell you how Maya actually has been talking about how he wants to join that with me. We mentioned that on Domino Mao Games, actually. But he will be joining me in the game eventually, and I'll help him on his little journey. And we were talking about how I actually really love the idea of how, because he brought it up to me that maybe I can reward him with gifts in the game, like new Pokemon and stuff that I've caught for him whenever he accomplishes things, and I actually really love that idea. And I told him that for each region that he accomplishes, after he gets all of the badges and he defeats the Elite Four in each region, that he'll have to battle me and all of my Pokemon. So I think that'll be really nice content for Domino Maya Games eventually. So sometime in the future, you can be sure to look for that. We'll give an announcement for it and everything. Also, I wanted to let people know that Maya eventually will not be my only guest that I will have on the show. I talked with my friend Rachel eventually about her coming on the show. She said that she would love to do it, and we're going to try to work in a time where she can do that. Considering she lives across an ocean from me, we will probably have to do that remotely from a distance, but we're going to try our best to work out something. I'd really love for her to be a guest on the show. Um, who knows, maybe at one point I'll have two guests come on the show, both her and Maya at the same time. We live in a very technologically advanced time now, so we can do these things. We'll have to see. And, you know what? I think this will be another good time for the second song break, actually. We're actually moving along pretty swiftly in the show tonight. So I will see you after Domino Radio.
Well, since my baby left me, well, I found a new place to dwell. Well, it's down at the end of Lonely Street. That's Heartbreak Hotel where I'll be so lonely, baby. I'll be so lonely. I'll be so lonely I could die. Well, although it's always crowded, you still can find some room for broken-hearted lovers to cry there in the gloom. Well, they'll be so lonely, baby. They'll be so lonely. Well, they're so lonely they could die. Bellhop's tears keep flowing. The desk clerks dressed in black. They've been so long on Lonely Street. They never look back, and they'll make you so lonely, baby. Oh, they're so lonely. Well, they're so lonely they could die. Well, if your baby leaves you, you've got a tale to tell. Well, just take a walk down Lonely Street to Heartbreak Hotel. Oh, you'll be so lonely, baby. Oh, you'll be so lonely. They'll make you so lonely you could die. They'll be so lonely, baby. Well, they'll be so lonely. They'll be so lonely they could die.
Welcome back to An Hour with Domino. The song you just heard was Heartbreak Hotel, performed by the fabulous Connie Francis. My personal favorite singer in the entire world. Of course, besides Maya. Yes, my Maya is a singer too. He's a musician. In fact, some of you probably know that about my Phonomuse channel, where I host all of my vinyl collection. I just recently got a brand new Connie Francis album for myself. It was a gift to myself for selling some of my books. I will have that recorded and up on the channel, hopefully soon. And as well as a brand new, well, they're not brand new, but new in my collection. I also got a Jerry Lee Lewis 45 single, which I hope to put in a jukebox someday. Those will be going up on my channel, hopefully soon. I'll give a link to Phonomuse in the description of this video, for those of you who want to listen to my songs on there. I have just surpassed over 700 subscribers, and I got like 703 now, I believe, or so, and I didn't even notice. So that's really, really thankful. I'm really glad to have that many people appreciating music. That is the reason I created Phonomuse, not only to show my collection, but to help enthuse people about vinyl in general and music they may not know, in appreciation of the world of music in general. I'm so glad that so many people are supporting it. I don't earn any money from it or anything, so it's strictly for just people to relax and enjoy. Alright, how about we move on to now the world of creation. This is where I talk about everything creative. The last episode I mentioned how I've been doing some updates to my Power of the Gods novel series. I have been working on that little by little. I wanted to let everyone know that even though I've been republishing, I've already republished the first book to the series, and I'm going to be republishing the second one too. Even though those two books were previously published some years ago, the older versions are no longer available, is because I have my new publisher, and I am respected and earned much more in the royalties with them than I ever have before. My previous publisher was not a very good publisher, and I kind of wish I never had gone with them, but at least I did have my name published and my work. But I'm glad that I am with someone now that appreciates my work, and I can earn completely from every book that I sell, and my work can be appreciated as it should. There are some people who have not bought my new books yet because they either, one, believe that it's the same story as published before, which in a way they are, but I've updated my books and rewrote them, and I'm really hoping that everyone will buy the newer versions of them, because this is very important to me, and if people truly want to support me, they will buy the new books, rather than just keeping the old ones. I don't want the old ones read anymore. If anybody has the older ones, either pack them away or throw them away. I want the new ones to be read, because I am finally be able to tell my stories how I want them to be told. So that's just a little bit of information that I wanted to bring up. I've noticed it a little bit lately, mostly from people in my family. I guess they kind of think that the older versions are still the same as the new versions, and they're not. And I wanted to make that clear, mostly with them. So if my family is listening at all, I want them to know that. Because even though I've updated it several times, they don't seem to be really getting that. And I wanted to make that clear. That each book that I'm publishing that is brand new, and that has been published once before, they are updated versions of it, and they are the true canon part of my stories in the Power of the Gods series, and whatever other old book that I had of mine that I've republished and rewrote. I am really happy that Moonbeam is having such good success so far, especially since I felt really good about writing that one. With all of the updates that I have for the Power of the Gods series, I have a lot planned for it. I did say how I was looking for some artists to make some artworks of my characters. I'm still looking for more. I may have found one on DeviantArt that both me and Maya kind of enjoy their work. I need to message them back and see if I might be able to actually have some artwork done. I have no clue on what character I want to have done first, but once I do have some artwork done of my characters, I will definitely be sure to show them on my DeviantArt and my Facebook for people who know me there too. For people who are listening who are not on my Facebook, do not request to have my Facebook. It is a private Facebook for only me and my family and very close friends that I have met in person. Aside from Rachel, she is a close friend of mine that even though she lives overseas, she is on my Facebook. Now, that isn't to just single anyone out or anything, but yeah, my Facebook is private, and I only use it for family and very close friends. Everyone else, if they want to contact me, they can do so either on the Domino Maya Games channel, on this channel, in the comments, or on my DeviantArt, Domino Punky Heart DeviantArt. Earlier, also, I wanted to bring up that when I was talking about Pokemon Revolution Online, for those of you who have an account on there, I realized that I didn't mention this because I was so excited about talking about news. I was going to mention it, though. For those who have an account on there and who wish to battle me, I'm known as Domino Valentine on there, and you should be able to find me. My little character, I actually really love my little avatar character. I wear a Team Rocket uniform, and I have long white hair and white cat ears. So I'm like a Neko boy who is wearing a Team Rocket uniform. Thinking about it makes me wonder what Maya's little avatar is going to look like when he eventually joins the game with me. I hope he's going to appreciate playing it too. Well, not appreciate playing it, but I hope he's going to enjoy playing it. Also in the world of creation tonight, I have yet to see it, but hopefully I'll be able to see it. A new movie that came out recently, actually just yesterday, The House with the Clock on Its Walls. Now, some time ago I mentioned how I was planning to watch this, and hopefully me and Maya will get to the theater to be able to see it, and if not, we'll see it after it's been released. I actually remember reading the book when I was younger. I remember the way I found it was really mysterious. And actually I want to tell this story in the world of creation. The House with the Clock on Its Walls was written by John Bellairs in the 70s. It was part of a series, and pretty much it was about a boy who goes to live with his uncle, and he lives in this grand mansion filled with clocks, and little does he know that all the clocks in there were mostly, not only were they part of his uncle's collection, but they were mostly there to drown out the sound of a magical clock that was in the wall. It's like infused with the house itself, and they would always hear the ticking, and the magical clock was thought to bring about an apocalypse whenever it stopped ticking, I believe. And hopefully the movie kept this concept. It seems like it has. I've refrained myself from looking at any reviews or anything, so I won't be spoiled by the ending of the movie or anything like that, because I'm really hoping that it'll be true to the book and it will still capture my attention when I watch it. I'm really excited for it. How I found the book when I was little, I used to frequent going to libraries often. I was not like the typical young boy. I love to read a lot, and I love to explore libraries, and I found The House with the Clock on Its Walls in the basement. There was a basement section that was usually reserved for non-fiction books, actually, and I remember finding this down there, and it was a fiction book. And I said, well, I want to read this. I ended up liking it so much that I also borrowed it from the library in audiobook form, and it generally became one of my favorite books ever written. Now, I love a lot of books, a lot of stories. There's a lot of good ones out there, and I encourage people to read as many as they can. I once remember this one quote. I'm not sure who said it, but I once remember one quote that said, a reader will live 1,000 lives before they die. And it's kind of true. If you read a lot, you will go on many adventures and many journeys that other people have put you on, other authors. And it's kind of how I feel whenever I think about all the books that I've read. And what's really magical about them is when you can remember them for many years in your mind, or even dream about them. And that's when it becomes not just a book, but it can become something more magical than that. And it's another reason why I am an author myself. I have many stories that I feel passionate about and have created, and I love writing them and sharing them with everybody else. If you have not yet read The House with the Clock on Its Walls, I'd very much suggest doing so. It is a gothic horror novel intended for younger readers, but I can assure you that all adults can enjoy it just as much. I have not read the other books to the series. The thing about this book, actually, is you can read it and not have to read any part of the series. It can easily be a standalone book. So even though it is a part of a series, it really doesn't have to be. And I just wanted to talk about that a little bit today. And I will, in the next episode, if I have not seen the movie by then, I will let everybody know how much I enjoyed it. And if I haven't, then I won't bring it up at all. Alright, everyone. I'm going to move on to the last song break of the show, and I will see you again soon after Domino Radio.
I didn't feel the arrow, I didn't even see the bow, but I know darn well that I've been hitting. There's only one place to go, to Dr. Heartache. It's surgery removing one of Cupid's darts. Yeah, Dr. Heartache, he's a specialist in broken hearts. He's out on the end of the lonely street, second floor Heartbreak Hotel. You can try everybody in Lonesome Town, but the only man to make you well is Dr. Heartache. It's surgery removing one of Cupid's darts. Yeah, Dr. Heartache, the specialist in broken hearts. My baby's name was Candy, and she was the sweetest chick. But I found out just a little too late, too much of candy make you sick, and Dr. Heartache. It's surgery removing one of Cupid's darts. Dr. Heartache at your service, he's a specialist in broken hearts. Tired of crying, you think you can't cry no more, you better get on down to the end of town. You find a Santa hanging up on the door, say Dr. Heartache. It's surgery removing one of Cupid's darts. Dr. Heartache at your service, he's a specialist in broken hearts. He's a specialist in broken hearts. He's a specialist in broken hearts.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome back to An Hour with Domino. The song you just heard was Dr. Heartache by Tommy Sands. Not too many people know about Tommy Sands these days. He was very famous in the late 50s, but I always loved his singing style. Reminds me a lot of Elvis, and Eddie Cochran, too. He was a real good singer. He's unfortunately retired now, but as is many singers from that time, but yeah. I honestly hope to own some of his vinyls for my channel and for my collection someday. And I will certainly update that whenever I do. Moving on to the ending part of the show, we did a little bit of themes out of order in the show today, mostly because I was so excited about Pokemon talk. Hopefully you don't mind that. Closing in on the last topic for the show, how many of you have heard of Space City, USA? If you haven't, again, I'm not surprised. It was supposed to be an amusement park that was planned in the city of Huntsville, Alabama in the 1960s. For a little bit of history lesson, in the 1960s, everything was about the space race. It was the space era, and it was still going on through the atomic age, but more space-themed by that time. And a lot of people love space travel, rocket ships, and airplanes, everything of the kind. And during the mid-60s, there was a proposed amusement park that was going to be dedicated entirely to that theme of space travel. And it would have been very fascinating. They would have had a glass-bottom boat ride. They would have a skyway ride, a lunar restaurant shaped like a giant mushroom, a jet car ride, a flying saucer, a futuristic time machines, quote-unquote, a simulated colony on the moon that even had a miniature volcano, and guests would have entered through a time machine into various themed areas, like the Lost World with dinosaur models, or a simulated moon colony like the Land of Oz, and an old South section. The estimated cost for it would have been about $35 million today. It was never made, unfortunately. They actually had the groundwork started to be laid out for it. It was going to be featured on an 850-acre site around Lady Anne Lake, near Huntsville and Decatur. People who live in that area, who are old enough to remember the 60s, might have remembered when this was proposed. It was put into newspapers and talked about on the news and in radio, and it would have opened in 65. And for some reason, they were not able to finish this. And looking over the information here, I've read a little about this. This is kind of a topic that I wanted to feature before on earlier episodes, but I'm finally getting it on the show now. Because if it would have been built, I would have loved to have gone to this. Absolutely loved it. I guess it's kind of similar into like the Land of Tomorrow, or Tomorrowland, I think it's called, in Disney, which is kind of done in that retro space age theme. The stock was sold finally for this as well. There used to be stock for it, and it's finally all gone. I don't think this will ever be made. Some people were kind of wanting the idea to come back, but I believe they have like living areas now, like people live in the spot where they were going to build the amusement park, so they'd have like condominiums and such neighborhoods and stuff there now. Never made. They actually did a lot of work on it just to even prepare it. The area around there had a lot of sort of swampy area, kind of filled with a lot of areas where there was water, and they actually had to prepare usable lakes and stuff for it. And even though they had gotten all of that work done, I believe they ran out of funding or something. And yeah, they had a lot of court battles. There were some people, and this is usually one thing that usually stops a lot of projects. There were some people who did not want the project to happen. And they were probably older folks around the time who did not like the modern versions of the world, and they didn't want a big amusement park near their neighborhood. So the project lost a lot of money with it, and eventually they were not able to build it. Space City became too ambitious of an idea, and I guess instead of relocating it to a different area, they just decided to close the entire project, which is rather sad. I would have liked to have seen this be built. Strangely, nobody else has ever really reported on this. There's some articles about it that you can look up to read more into it if you'd like to. They do have a wiki article, but it's not very long. A lot of information is lost on this, unfortunately, but that's one reason I thought it would be interesting to bring it up. It's something that's lost to time. Something that's all about an encapsulated era of time is now lost in time. There's still a few artifacts to it that they prepared and they never really were able to put into the park, and now they're all packed away. I wonder whatever will become of them or something. But yeah. Well, everyone, I really hope you enjoyed today's episode. I know it was kind of a quick episode, and I talked a lot about Pokemon, but for those who love Pokemon, I'm sure you won't mind. And hopefully Maya will join me on the next episode next time. I really actually like having him on. I'm hoping to look to do more episodes like I mentioned, and I'm hoping to have more guests come on soon, so we'll see what the future holds. And look for updates on Domino My Games and on my DeviantArt. I hope to release some more art this year. Some of my drawings, I mean. And more updates about my writing, too. I recently got someone who is interested in possibly buying a copy of Moonbeam, which I'm real excited about. I hope they will. And I will see you all in the next episode. Bye for now.